some senior minister from our very close ally Singapore back to the Oval Office. Gosh, I think we must have met, seems like a half a dozen at least times since I've been the president. And every time I meet with you, I come away with a better understanding of a lot of issues, particularly in your part of the world. I thank you very much for briefing me and sharing your wisdom. We spent a lot of time talking about the neighborhood, but before I get to a couple of countries in the neighborhood, I do want to say, one, how much I appreciate your firm stance against extremists and radicals who use the tactics of murder and intimidation to advance their ideology. Singapore is a very strong ally in the war against the extremists. And I also am so pleased that the trade agreement that we negotiated during our respective times has kicked in. I'm a believer in free and fair trade, as are you, sir, and our FTA with Singapore was a very positive accomplishment for our two countries. We did spend time talking about the countries in the neighborhood. Spent time on Burma and the need for the military regime there to understand that they shouldn't fear the voices of people, and yet they do. I'm disappointed with the progress made to date there, and would urge the military leadership there to open up and respond to the will of the people. And the other issue was China and its relations with Tibet. And we both agreed that it would stand the Chinese government in good stead if they would, begin a dialogue with the representatives of the Dalai Lama. They'll find if they ever were to reach out to the Dalai Lama, they'd find him to be a really fine man, a peaceful man, a man who is anti-violence, a man who is not for independence, but for the cultural identity of the Tibetans being maintained. And so I want to thank you, sir. You've got good knowledge, and you've had a lot of experience, and you're kind to share it with me.
So, thank you very much, President, for welcoming me back to Oval Office. It's a joy coming back here and to see you. I was very interested in developments in the Middle East. The President briefed me on the developments in Iraq, a concern which he has over Iran, which is going to be a very big problem, not just for the U.S., but for the region and for the world. Then President was interested in developments in Asia, so I was able to add some value to his knowledge on Southeast Asia and Asia. On Tibet, I agree with the President that the way forward will be for the Chinese leaders to talk to some representatives of the Dalai Lama. And better still, if they can, to talk directly to the Dalai Lama. I think that's the only way for them to contain this problem. For Myanmar, I told the President that whilst the army is the problem, the army has been part of the solution. Without the army playing a part in solving problems with Myanmar, there will be no solution. So these are the issues which we discussed. And of course, I emphasize the importance of keeping the world having this free trade regime. The Doha round should be encouraged to move forward. It's moving too slowly, but it should move forward.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.